Hey everyone, welcome back. This is episode 3 of Decoding Wealth. I am your host, Daniel Duhart. This show is all about providing education and information to help you grow your wealth. Today we're going to talk about protection, protecting your family, your business, and your future. It's always great to have a strategy in place to grow your wealth, but you want to make sure that you have the proper protection in place to complement that. That's just as valuable as well. My special guest for today has worked with a number of individuals, families, and entrepreneurs to make sure that they have that protection in place. So I want to go ahead and introduce Miss Mia Martin, insurance professional.
Thank you for having me, Daniel.
Mia, how are you today?
Doing fantastic, fantastic. How are you?
Great, great. Well, I know that you are very, very passionate about what you do, and you work with a number of different clients. You have a wide base of people that you work with. But before we go into it and really talk about how you help people with establishing that protection, I'd like for you to just give us an introduction about yourself and what ultimately led you to become an insurance professional.
Well, after I left the corporate space, I jumped right into entrepreneurship. So I own a marketing agency here in Atlanta for about 8 years. And during the pandemic, one of my amazing clients brought me in as a fractional chief marketing officer. And that client is in the insurance business. And so I learned the business inside out while being there and really grew passionate about the ability to help people and communities and organizations. So I guess I caught the insurance bug and got my license and jumped right in.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and then, of course, we have worked together in a number of different ways, and I understand, and relate to what you said, and just in terms of your passion for wanting to help people. I had a similar experience as well. Not really sure exactly what I would want to do with leaving that corporate space, but becoming an independent professional, I saw the value in that and really wanted to work with clients. So I know today we are decoding a couple different things. So we're talking about protection as a foundation, but protection for your family, for your business, and then ultimately for your future. So let's start with protecting your family. What does that mean to you when you hear protection for your family?
Protection for my family just means making sure that they're taken care of if something happens to me. So you are your biggest asset. And if something happens to you, who's going to take care of your family? So there's so many different products that are out there and solutions to help you plan for a better future, whether it be protecting your mortgage.
Right.
There's products that can help you with that. There's ways to invest and plan for your child's future or your grandchild's future. So really just getting started early and setting your family up for success to protect them.
Right, right. And it's, as you said, it's so many different ways that you can do that, especially as a foundation life insurance. Whether you're looking at whether that's term or a permanent plan, life insurance should be the foundation of everyone's portfolio because it's a number of different things that you have to think about when you lose someone. One, let's just say if I have a family, a spouse and kids. One, that absence of me not being there with my family grieving, that's tough. And then also, too, the second part of that, now there's income that's not coming into that household. So having to replace that income and then ultimately losing someone unexpectedly, the cost of burying that person, it's a lot that goes into that. So I think that life insurance should be the foundation of your portfolio. And to me, it's one of the most selfless things that you can do with purchasing life insurance. So you touched on a lot of great points. And again, that's, a great start to making sure that you protect your family. So, secondly, I know that you said with protecting your business, what exactly does that look like? How do you help clients protect their business?
So I like to approach it from two different angles. One being a lot of people that are leaving the corporate space or already in business for themselves as entrepreneurs, they might be what we call solopreneurs. So if something happens to them, then what happens to the business?
Right.
So I really like to inform the people that I know about the value of disability insurance and making sure that they're covered should something happen to them. Also, the benefits of understanding living benefits with some of the products that are out as well to protect yourself using term insurance. So, really, just making sure if you were to get critically ill or if you were to experience a disability, that you're able to still provide for your family and your business could potentially still carry on.
Absolutely. And, that's another great point. I think people fail to realize that you are your number one asset. Of course, you have, cars, homes, businesses, and things like that, but your ability to earn income is what you should protect first, when you're looking at that disability income that you touched on. And also too with business owners. I know you work with a lot of business owners and making sure that their businesses have adequate coverage. What are some of the ways that maybe you protect just specifically from a business standpoint?
On the business side, you definitely want to make sure that your business is insured so that if you make any errors, you're covered. Really looking at entire umbrella policies as well to make sure that you're protected on all ends should you be sued or find yourself in a situation where you need more additional protection. So I would say really the umbrella piece in itself is great for the business owner.
Right, and it is because, if I'm a business owner, I want to make sure that my business is covered from every angle. And so it's one thing to just have coverage in place, but one, as the business owner, understand what I have in place and make sure that it's adequate. Because I always tell clients, whether it's personal or professional, risk is free. You pay for protection. Insurance is not something that you can get after the fact. So you want to make sure that going into it, whether it's your personal assets or your business, that you have all of the adequate coverage in place. Because when you're looking at lawsuit situations, that's something that can deplete someone's assets really, really quickly. And so again, it's always about that education piece and making sure clients understand what they have. And then, the last piece to that puzzle, I know talking about protecting your future. And that can look like a number of different things. I know whether that be protecting with the disability income, making sure that you have those wealth strategies in place, preparing for your retirement, all of that. When you're looking at protecting your future, what does that look like for you?
It's so important, and there's a couple of different ways to approach it. But the first piece is really building your own bank. As entrepreneurs, we're always looking for funding sources and resources to fund our business. And sometimes we have to stop and look back at ourselves to become that personal bank for ourselves. So building your own bank would be one piece. Another component is that for those of us who have that 401k, that maybe we've rolled over into an IRA and we're waiting to live off of that during our retirement ages, the tax rate against that particular pot of money is
Right.
going to be quite significant. I know we've all been hearing about the increased rates and everything else. So really looking at tools that can work in your favor for tax-free retirement on the insurance side that are going to allow you to accumulate wealth and access it in a tax-free manner. So it's just another thing to add to your investment portfolio to make sure that you're pretty well diversified and protected.
Right. And I was just about to touch on that. Diversification is key, because nowadays it's so many different strategies and concepts that are out there, whether it be personal or professional, that people have access to. And so, ironically enough, we talked about the Build Your Own Bank strategy on episode 1 and really broke that down and how that can be beneficial to help you for your future. Like you said, when you're looking to leverage yourself from a tax perspective and how that particular policy, it's so many different ways that you can use that, whether it be the disability income. It's so many different ways that you can protect yourself. But ultimately, I think it's just simply about the education piece.
One thing that's come up in the midst of this pandemic is that people have been getting retrained, going into different careers, really making a pivot in the midst of a pandemic.
The advice I would offer to any young person that has started on a path their pool or they see some interest somewhere else, I would tell them, do not turn your back on that. I started off as a receptionist, $7.50 an hour. And I don't make $7.50 an hour now.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Today, we're gonna be making a twice baked potato and potato skins.
One other thing that I wanted to touch on, I think that in today's times, there's so many people that own their own business or are entrepreneurs. I want to just touch on, hey, if I'm someone that's starting a business, of course, we know that all of the different pieces from a protection point that we need in place. I know you work with a lot of entrepreneurs. What are some of the basic things that those entrepreneurs need to establish themselves or set up their business?
Well, you definitely want to make sure that you have an LLC established. Make sure that you have general liability insurance. Depending
Sure.
on what type of industry that you're in, there's different types of professional liability insurance too that are really going to help protect you. Making sure that you have some type of policy that's going to protect you if you were to become ill. So if you're just getting started, start with a term policy with living benefits, because should you become critically ill, it's going to give you that protection that you need. If you own a home, there's a term policies where you can bring that in and pay off your mortgage if something were to happen to you. So that way you're not leaving your family with funeral bills and they're having to do a GoFundMe account or figure out how to pay off the house. At the very least, that aspect is taken care of. So I
Right.
would say if I were to first get started and I had a limited budget, start with what you need, that general liability and any additional supportive products, but then also making sure that you have that term with living benefits as well. That's going to be vital for you. And then you can transition into some other ways to build cash value. I'd say either on the whole life side or the IUL side. But as you're making that transition and as you're growing, you want to establish a relationship with an insurance professional so that they can help you through that strategy and through that journey as you continue to grow as an entrepreneur. It's just like anything else from an investment standpoint or from a growth of your business standpoint. You want these processes and strategies to grow with you and your business as you develop.
Right, right. And, that's one of the things that when, with working with entrepreneurs myself, I always advise people, even if it's not with me, to seek help. Because once you become an entrepreneur, it's one thing to have to focus on your business and everything of running your own show, but also, with establishing the things that you need, you want to make sure that you just are talking to the right people to put all of those things in place. Because, even as you mentioned, and I came from the same background, when you come from corporate to going into being an entrepreneur, it's a lot of different things that maybe you aren't aware of. And so if I'm in a corporate setting to where I may have group benefits that I can take advantage of, or I can have a 401k or retirement plan that's built into a package at that corporation, or just some of the other benefits that come with that. When I'm an entrepreneur, those things don't exist. And so, whether it's a solo 401k, having health insurance or life insurance, because all of those things, once you leave that corporate setting, they're not transferable into you becoming a entrepreneur or a business owner. So You know, those are some great points as well too. And again, in today's times, it's so many people that are becoming entrepreneurs, and I think that that basic information and knowledge is what they need. So, you know, as we, you know, we've talked about a lot today around protection. You know, when you first meet with that, you know, entrepreneur or business owner, or just anyone that may be listening, is there just, you know, where does that start? What does that look like when you have that initial conversation with that client?
The initial conversation is really around me just trying to get to know them and what their goals are. Having been an entrepreneur for some time now, I understand the struggle at the beginning and just getting that business strategy together and that plan to get everything implemented. So, working with them to really get a good understanding of what their personal and professional goals are for their business, because that's the biggest piece to them at that point in time. Then, trying to figure out what their financial goals are, what type of money they would need to maintain or enhance this lifestyle later in life. What do they want for their children? If they do not have children yet, are they planning to? And what type of things do they want to plan for them in the future? Do they have to take care of their parents at some point in
That's a good
time?
point.
Are there any other people in their family or friends that they have to support and take care of? What is their health like at that point in time, and what's potentially available to them? So it's really a relationship where
Yeah.
you're getting to know someone to identify what's going to be best for their life and their business to really help them strive and move forward. Because for those who are entrepreneurs and maybe still in the corporate space too, a lot of times, to your point, you get all these great benefits,
Yeah,
but then is it enough? Because if
that's
you
true.
need a certain amount or you want to live a certain type of way when you get older, or there may be some things that you have to pay for along the way that take away from your funding, then you may want to be looking into ways to build your own bank through whole life insurance as well as um, IUL policies and things of that nature. Yeah.
Right. And I love that approach with how you really want to connect with your client. I think that, and it's not just, you know, in the insurance space, it's really any industry. I think that you have so many people nowadays that are just trying to push a product at people. And so for you to take that consultative approach to where, hey, I want to get an understanding of what's important to you, whether that's personal or either professionally. And then from there, once you hear what's most important to them, you then, you know, put all of the pieces to the puzzle together for them to help them accomplish that. So, you know, building that relationship and that connection is key. And I'm sure that, you know, it probably helps you, you know, with just having longevity with your client. So taking that approach, I'm sure that clients would really appreciate it. I know I would, you know, when I'm dealing with someone that's providing a service for me. So I love to hear that. Well, Wamia, I really appreciate, you know, your time today, just talking about a number of different things as they relate to protection and how you go about dealing with your client, how that relates to, you know, someone's overall wealth portfolio. In closing, is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with around just establishing or making sure that they have that proper protection in place?
Knowledge is power, and any qualified great insurance agent will sit down and talk to you. So take out the time. You owe it to yourself and your business, most importantly, yourself and your family, to be knowledgeable about all the resources that are available to you. It's very surprising oftentimes how many people do not know about some of these amazing resources, and that's why we're here today, is to
Right.
make sure that you know. So I'm excited to hear from anyone that's out there that has questions about how they can better protect themselves, their business, as well as their family.
Right.
Yes.
Well, for all of those that follow the show, Mia touched on a quote that I referenced in the first two episodes, which is knowledge is power. And you know, I really believe that applied knowledge is true power. And as she alluded to, you want to make sure that you're taking the information that you have at hand and applying it to your situation. Again, whether that's for you personally or for you professionally. Again, it's all about the information information and what you do with it. So keep that in mind. Mia, thank you so much for, again, taking the time out to help decode this topic around protecting your family, your business, and your future, Mia's social media handles will be at the bottom of the screen. Also, too, if you have any questions or comments that you want to drop below, we would love to hear from you and get feedback around this particular topic. Stay tuned for upcoming details around episode 4. Again, thank you for tuning in for Decoding Wealth.